things I've never run into is a body grip trap or a snare.
In the field.
In the field.
Yeah.
I never used one as a kid. I used a long spring. These things, like, I hear all kinds of ways of getting out of them. I don't know how you set them. I don't know how you unset them. I don't know how you get a dog out of it.
People call them condobears, body grippers.
Mm-hmm.
They come in 3 sizes, all right? Historically, they come in 3 sizes. 110, 220, 330. The numbers don't mean anything. They don't stand for anything. It's more just relative. 110 smallest, 330 biggest, right. 220
the bigger one would be 440.
Yep. But then when they did make a big one, they abandoned that number system. I'm just pointing out that everybody's like, what does the number mean? It doesn't mean anything. It just means little. It means small, medium, and large.
Better. Okay.
Yeah. Over time, though, they came up with other ones, other numbers. In fact, so this is what's called 280. But I bring that up only for this reason. A 110 condobear has a single spring on it, and they're used for muskrat and mink. There's not a hunting dog on the planet can fit into a 110.
Okay.
All right, that's not going to do it. Now, you get up into a 220, there's a chance.
Right.
330, yes. These are heavily regulated. So in some states, in a lot of states, there's a prohibition, like a prohibition on setting a body grip on dry ground on public land. That might be a prohibition.
Oh, wow.
Or your state might say that a body grip over a certain size needs to be 1/3 submerged, fully submerged, half submerged. But in some states, you can expect to encounter body gripping traps set on dry land. Like, for instance, in Alaska, you got guys trapped there. The people are trapping wolverines. Right? You can set a 330 in a baited bucket,
which would draw in my dog.
And if you were intending to catch a dog, I would make a baited bucket with a 330.
Right.
Okay, so you got to it is out there, but the other thing is if you're a dog owner, your dog doesn't care, right? And you don't care if that trap was set illegally or legally.
Right.
It's still an issue.
Yeah.
Like a dog can get in there. And like I use body grips.
So
myself.
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm thinking of like a choke out or a suffocation.
That's what's ultimately going to happen.
But it's not. It doesn't break their neck or their spine.
A dog, no.
A dog.
I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah.
I was with a guy one time. We were trapping beaver, and this is we were setting in a place where you're allowed to set 330s dry land. Mm-hmm. He caught his own dog while we were trapping, and he very casually went over and let his dog rip. He didn't even, his pulse didn't even go up. So yeah, if you got
looks crazy,
but the kind of dogs you mess with, the kind of dogs your listeners mess with, being bird dogs, like a substantial sized dog, like a dog that's going to be 30 pounds, more than 30 pounds.
40, 50, and 60.
It's not going to kill it instantly. I'm telling you.
Right.
It's just not going to.
So
it's not going to kill those dogs instantly.
Is the likelihood... See, to me, here's another question. You were talking about half water, full water sets.
That's regulation.
If you were using this on a dry land where I might be hunting, right, for like a raccoon, or this would be a little big for a raccoon to take it, but what?
No, this is good coon size. Okay. This is called a 280. So it sits between a 220 and a 330. This would be a good coon size. And normally, for coons, I'm setting like that. Most dogs are going over.
Right.
But you can't rule out, because there's another thing, like, you might use cross sticks. Here, let's get this thing set.
See, that reminds me of the old grip strength things.
Oh, there's
the ones that used to work your grip when we were kids.
When I'm trapping, I use a setting tong.
So it's a tool for that?
Just picture a big old firewood tong, right?
Yeah.
Get some leverage. There's setting ball.
Now, it's literally you're handling it like fire. God!
What's wrong?
Well, you're handling it so fast, I feel like it's going to snap you. Or it can't do it until... Oh, okay. Oh, is that a safety then?
Safety catches are on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that trigger. Fix that trigger. So I'm setting this now.
Yep.
So to make it live, I gotta go like this. It's live now.
Now it's dangerous.
Now it's dangerous.
Okay.
So I might set it like this. Most dogs are gonna go over it. But let's say I'm in a narrow tunnel.
Right.
I'm in a narrow tunnel through the brush.
Yeah.
And I cross anchor it, meaning I drive a rod through there. Right. I drive a rod through there to anchor it. Now what's the dog gonna do?
Well, he's either going to go over that again.
Increases the chance that Or let's say I got a narrow tunnel through the brush
Right.
on a coon trail.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting to, as a trapper, I'm looking for where that trail narrows down.
Right.
Maybe it goes under a log.
Right.
Because then it's like, it's already a confined space. And when I
Yeah.
set this in there, it doesn't look goofy.
Yeah.
When you get a dog in here, the clock's ticking.
Right.
He's not dead. He's not dead right now. Tomorrow, probably dead.
Right.
You follow me?
Right.
So then there's like a sense of urgency. So I'll show you.
So on a worst case, this would be on a dog's behind his skull and on his throat. That would be the
Worst case scenario,
Right. Right. Okay.
which is,
yeah.
you know, that's lethal.
Right.
Over time. So he comes in. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Got it?
Okay. I'd be panicking right now. The dog.
You're panicking.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I'll tell you what. The guy I was talking about that caught his own dog in a 330. You know how we knew he caught his own dog in a 330. Even with that, he was still able to.
It just looks so lethal. I mean,
But you know what? I get my hand in there, and it doesn't break your bone.
really,
I'm not going to snap it in there. I would happily sit there and put it
you
in
let
there.
me open it and close it on there.
Yep. If you close it on there, you would tell. But again, that's not what's happening.
Right.
But I'm saying the holding power. If you close it on there, it's not that uncomfortable.
Right.
Snapping it on there is uncomfortable.
But it doesn't have any flex to open on its own now.
You're not opening that up.
It's not.
Like there's no. You can't.
There's no purchase.
You can in a million years sit like this.
That
You
is
ain't
not-
opening that trap.
Okay.
You're just not gonna open that trap like that. So earlier you saw me just set it,
Right.
but it's now awkward.
Right.
Right.
And it's attached to a squirming dog.
Yeah, it's awkward. We're not gonna do this,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And now if you'd have to be a big tough son of a bitch
Right.
to compress that
Right.
and get that latch on. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show just like a very simple, quick way of doing it. Anything, guys will carry a rope. If you had a good boot lace, you could do this with a good boot lace. A dog leash,
Yeah.
you could use a belt, anything, and it's like really simple. Through, okay,
Yep.
and through.
追加切りでいいな、いいかみで。
Got it.
Be on the other side of that.
What's that? No, we're good.
Okay.
Through and through.
All right.
I'm gonna put my foot. If you can pull it off,
A bigger leash would have a bigger toe hold. That's a great idea, though.
anything like that.
Yep.
Your body can hold it and watch.
So that's. You just got to get that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see what
there
you're
we go.
saying. Yeah.
so
You put that on.
there's one.
And are these safeties? I mean, Steve, it looks like, I'm thinking about gun safeties. That thing is not going to jiggle off of there, that safety.
No, and this is the cheapest one on the market. There's other ones that have a really positive. I actually don't like these. I dislike that safety. But the reason they're on there, you can think of it as a safety, but functionally, it's not like people choose to put them on for safety.
Right.
Functionally, you have to have that or you can't get it set.
Yeah.
Because you're only working one spring at a time.
Right.
So you don't need to worry about encountering a body. You don't need to worry about encountering a body grip that is missing that.
It's just.
Because
Yeah.
if it's missing that, the guy ain't going to be able to use it.
Right.
It's not like he doesn't have it there for you. He's got it there for him.
So then rinse and repeat. Same thing on the other side.
Yeah, and then it just.
Now I can picture, the dog would be laying here, so that's really not the worst position to be in.
Yeah, save you in there. Yeah, there's our one set.
Right?
It is.
No little feathers, okay?
Well,
Think? Should we take him to the vet?
he's more okay than.
Should we take him to the cobbler?
Listen, I'm not a vet, but I'm not a vet, but I would. Right.
All right, so, I'm going to have to practice that a little bit.
I would
But
think so.
It looks it's as simple as,
Yeah.
you made it sound on the phone. That's why I asked you to show me that.
And listen, and I'll tell you, man, I have situations and have had situations where I could be making a legal set, and I'll say to myself, something in the back of my head, I'll say, man, that like don't do what you're thinking about doing because that could get a dog.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'll think
So
that.
these
to
would
myself.
never be used like mid, waist level or knee
No.
level, right?
No.
It's either in the water, all the way in the water. It's for an animal to walk through.
If you're in the lower 48,
It's just not a.
here's who's setting body grips in the lower 48. You're setting coon trails. You're setting otter crossovers, and you might be making sets for like bait and cubby sets for fishers
Yeah.
in areas that have fishers. But even then, you run into things where you have to have it 50 inches off the ground, 48 inches off the ground.
Wow.
Like in the areas I trap, I can't put like most on public land. Any body grip bigger than this,
Yeah.
which you can't get a dog in,
Right.
has to be 48 inches off the ground.
Wow.
Has to be in a
So
tree
is that all because of pets?
or unintentional catches.
Yeah. Or unintentional. Even though
Well,
unintentional game.
what I'm talking about particularly is
Yeah.
the lynx recovery zone, and they don't want you catching lynx. The lynx don't like to climb.
So that would.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So that's what it's happening.
Gotcha.
But you might see the same thing. It's like, well, I say that, but that's not entirely true. So, like, if I'm trapping, like, I can trap a right of way, or a road right of way in the state of Montana. I can trap a road right of way.
Right.
I can't. This has to be submerged. I can't have a dry land set in the right of way zone. That's for dogs.
So it's definitely a threat out there, but it doesn't sound like it's never happened to me in 40 years.
and here's
So
the
I
thing.
know I take that back. I had a leg hold one time.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but that was just step on the spring.
that gets people excited, but that's not an issue. I don't view that as a real risk. This is a risk, and the other thing is, it's like I can talk to you all day about regs,
Right.
but
Everybody doesn't follow.
it's like I wouldn't if I was a bird dog hunter and I was hunting remote areas,
Yeah.
and I was hunting during traffic season. I might not tell myself I don't need to learn how to do that because it's illegal.
Right. It's not a good philosophy.
Because listen,
It's not a good way out.
yeah, picture that you got some 12, 13-year-old kid and he wants to catch a raccoon.
Even though his dad said no.
Now you're going to read the regulation, right? So,
He could put them anywhere.
yeah, and anyone can put them anywhere. In fact, there was a real high-profile case in New Mexico. It led to a trapping ban in New Mexico, and there was a dog got caught in a snare, and people pointed out, but the snare was illegally set. No one cared. The dog is dead. Snare's illegally set.
Yeah.
People got upset at trappers. Trappers are like, but it was illegal.
It's like gun owners saying the gun was stolen.
Yeah, it's like they're like, yeah, you shouldn't have the stupid thing anyway,
Right.
And so it's just it can happen, and that's when it can happen. If you get to it quick, you're going to get it out. I don't want to lie to people and tell them though that if you don't find it for a day, if you don't find your dog for a day,
It's
that's in
gonna
one
just
of these.
It's gonna keep.
I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you you're going to come tomorrow. And
Because the thing is, there's just like you said, there's no flex to open back up. Whatever it's crimped it down to that size, it's compressing the blood vessels and the oxygen, and I would imagine it would starve out for oxygen and stuff. I asked you about snares.
Yeah.
And
No, it's worth it.
right. So onto that container. Oh, jeez.
That's dramatic.
Yeah, that was dramatic.
So cable
This
snares.
is what more people talk about because they're set up for coyotes.
Yeah, it's set for a dog.
Yeah, dog height.
Well, it's not gonna hurt a dog. You'd have to. I mean,
Except,
your dog ain't gonna be hurt for a day, 2 days.
really?
Probably not.
All right. So here's my dog.
My set's like this for coyotes. You know what you do? 10-inch loop,
Yep.
10 off the ground. So
Yeah, that's right where the dog's going to go.
that's 10-10.
Right.
Think on coyotes, think 10-10.
So if I get in here, and that's that.
Yep.
Now, if I'm to, there's a lot of training to dogs that they get calmer, like the dogs who can cut their own toenails, the dogs that go to the vet. There's a lot of dogs that would just go like, oh, I'm on a tie-off stake.
Yeah. And chill.
What would it, exactly, they'd be like, oh.
So there's a couple of factors, and again, I was talking about commoners, and I was not boring you, but mentioned state regulations.
Yeah.
Okay. There are states where this set can't have any entanglements near it.
What do you call an entanglement?
That
tree?
There's
or
nothing. So this has to have a radius, and there can't be any entanglement.
Really?
That means that coyote isn't dead.
Right.
It's not
Because
that
he couldn't
there's nothing he can wrap up on.
fence post.
Or you
log.
have a state, you'll hear people say, oh, it's not a snare, it's a cable restraint. That's the thing you hear people say. What they're
Right.
talking about when they say that is some locks have to be relaxing locks. The lock doesn't go all the way. It always relaxes. That's not a relaxing lock.
Okay.
Some locks, you do that and it always backs up a little bit. Other snares and other places, you can rig it to be lethal. Meaning it's a non-relaxing lock.
Okay.
And you have entanglements. So he's going to wrap on there,
Right.
go around a tree.
And if you pull and I pull, does this get tighter?
It's just going to cinch up and cinch up and cinch up. That can kill it, but it's not going to kill your dog quick.
Right.
And dogs just going to be different about like the way they fight it. So you think to yourself, well, just cut the cable. Cable's hard to cut.
You're right. Right.
With a Leatherman, it's hard to cut a cable. The other thing is this gets so bound up. This can get so bound up that you can't picture. If you got a fluffy dog,
Yeah.
it's hard to see it in there. You can always, though, back that lock off.
Well, why do people talk about the cable cutter?
Just because they don't know what they're looking. I mean, well, if my dog
if you
was
never
in
saw
one
a
of these,
snare.
if my dog was in one of these and I had a cable cutter, I'd cut the cable. But I'm talking to people that don't have a cable cutter.
Right.
You can back this thing off. You can back that off on there and get it off. The other thing is, some states, the state where I live in, it has to have an S hook that breaks at 250 pounds of pressure. You can just take a needle nose plier and open that S hook off.
So the Leatherman can come to the day.
That S hook is meant to be any livestock. He's just going to go doink.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of states have a breakaway. They have to be equipped with a breakaway, and that breakaway, you could exert 250 pounds of pressure.
Yeah, I would think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
needle nose anything. You just think, yeah, and it'll pop.
Wow.
But this doesn't have a breakaway.
So
on it. I don't even know if this is a legal snare. Right?
Well, it was in a neighbor's garage.
Sure,
So
yeah, regulations change all the time.
So when you pull that, yeah, I could see trying to get a cutter in here would be
Yeah,
damn near impossible. But
you just put the pressure on that. They kink up too. Like if he's in there a long time, it can get kinked up and tangled. At that point, you're going to want to cut it to get it off.
okay.
There's things that can happen that would make it that you can't back it away.
Oh,
But
really?
not if it's just caught within if it's caught within the
Right.
last half hour, just back the lock off.
Right. And that would be like, is there something else? Now, is this like a store-bought thing, or do people just make these?
You can order them online. You can make them. I
So-
could go online right now and buy them by the hundred.
Is there a way to make them that you would have to have a cable cutter? Because something that can slide tight has got to be able to slide open, right?
You get into all these if, this, that. There is a thing in some areas like predator control guys, like government predator control guys, that
Yeah.
use these RAM devices
Mm-hmm.
that actually are like, they put a spring like that on a snare. That's a whole different ball game.
Okay.
Yep, whole different ball game.
And that's going to get tight, stay tight.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not going to run into that.
No.
But that's a thing. Like wildlife control guys are doing coyote work for like government
Right.
predator stuff.
Yeah.
They might in some instances use what's called a ram lock,
Gotcha.
and it's a power drive around there, and that's bad news.
Yeah.
Um,
You would have to cut into your dog's skin and cut that cable. So
you have to get the cable cut.
I had
You have to get the cable cut.
I had three things. Like, I know these wouldn't cut it, right? Because
I
they're.
wouldn't say that. Let's see.
I don't want to ruin it for you.
It's a buck.
Oh, is that all it is? Okay.
No problem.
All right, people are making a. Now that's my fence
and this
plier.
is a heavy snare.
That's my fence
this is
plier.
no problem.
And then this is,
There's
what
a cable cut.
this is what everybody says you have to have,
No.
the cable cut. I'm telling you.
I mean, they're making snares and they're cutting.
Well,
if they're going to make a few
because
hundred snares,
the pliers
that
are
makes
like $75. Now that your dog's life's now worth $75.
a shitty multi-tool. A shitty multi-tool is hard, but you can
Right,
do it.
because but this has got.
I use this in my garage when I'm cutting cable.
I was just gonna. Yeah. And that, even if you did pinch your dog's skin, so what?
And this is a heavy snare too.
Right. Have your like coyote type.
Yeah,
Something like
that's
that.
like that's
Yeah.
that's aircraft cable. It's like aluminum cable.
Right. Yeah. No, it's wire rope. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you could. This is thousands of pounds of strength.
Yeah.
No, any of these things. Yeah, fencing plier.
They're too heavy to carry. Well, I just had it
It'd
in
be
the
a bitch
garage.
to carry, but I'm just saying.
And it would take care of people's barbed wire when you're lost,
You know,
as long as you could put it back together.
game shear.
I'm gonna put them in my.
I'm guessing game shear ain't gonna do it.
No, you know
A
what?
bad multi tool isn't gonna do it. You'll get out of a brand new. I bet you out of a brand new Leatherman with a real good cutter, you'll get a couple cuts out of it. That's not.
Oh no, that wouldn't do nothing. I thought that opener was a way to lock the blade.
Try it. You ain't gonna worry about that.
No,
You guys, you just need to get a new dog. That's it.
and then here's the other little one, but
That'll do
these
it.
are still. Do you think this will still go?
Unless it's all jumped up, you ruined it. And improper tool use. There you go.
Yeah.
So we finally found something that won't cut it.
Yeah, but this is just an old junkie. I probably
Improper.
I could see you through the crack.
Yeah. That's improper tool.
So what I'm going to do is get a pair of good electricians' dikes.
What's nice about these is you can get in there.
Right.
Like I could.
Well, you got to get in there a little bit, but what's nice about that, what you're saying is, put that around your arm. I could get in here, and then get to that back.
And always remember, if your dog messes up a trapper set, make sure to contact the trapper and apologize.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy.